Hi.
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 My face looks bomb in real life. See, I look so damn good.
First of all, sir.
Hi. Welcome to my channel. My name is Victoria. First things first, subscribe to my channel. Before we get started, I just want to say Happy New Year. By the time this video goes up, it will officially be New Year's something. I just want to say my Christmas was not the best, but it was Christmas, and I'm glad that it was. So today, we will be reading some r/am I the a-hole. We also have a couple r/am I the jerks. We'll be reading some Reddits. I do not know what this channel will become. I have a lot planned for it, but I hope that you and whoever you feel needs to see my face, I hope they are along for the ride. So I'm going to actually summarize this one because I tried to film this one before and it did not work out very well for me. So basically, this guy is asking, am I the a-hole for pointing out to my girlfriend that she's overweight? And the gist of it, and I will put up the screenshots, but the gist of it is basically his girlfriend is mouthy ass Margaret, and she is always making jokes, she's cracking jokes on people, ha 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 ha. They go out to eat. The waitress is very pretty. She a little thick thing, and even I assume whoever wrote this is saying like she's an 8 out of 10, no makeup, right? She's very sweet, but his girlfriend is mouthy ass Margaret, and she has something to say about it. She did not care that the waitress could hear her talking about her weight and the way she looked, XYZ. So of course the boyfriend was like, you know you're fat too, right? Like you do know you're fat as well. Like you're also overweight. And she was not with the shits. So she left. She dipped. And now he's asking the Reddit. He's asking the internet. He's asking me and you and my cameraman Trinity.
Hello.
Am I the asshole? Now, number one, there's a part in here specifically where he says she can hear her talking, and he says she can hear you, and then she continues to say like I don't care, XYZ, and just starts going off. My thing is, as somebody who has been bullied very often in my life, number one, why do you do that? So what is the good? I just want to know what her idea of, oh, this is me being funny is. I had somebody in my life that thought making fun of people, even if you didn't know them, they thought that was funny. They thought that was comedy. In reality, it wasn't, and it was very painful, not just for me, but for a lot of people around that person. And it kind of made us all very like, ooh, we don't really want to be around you. So the fact that she was like, oh, this is funny to me, XYZ, but she could dish it out, but she can't take it. It's just very interesting. Now, is he the a-hole for being like, but you're fat too? No. There's sometimes you gotta throw some shit back at people in order for them to understand what they're doing is wrong. In this situation specifically, there is a certain level of respect I feel that you should have for all people. And if you know somebody personally, I'm gonna roast the fuck out my little brother all damn day in a loving way.
Sure fucking does.
I'm gonna roast the fuck out of my friends in a loving way. But these are people that I know personally and people that I like. They can call me whatever they want all day long, and I know they don't mean it because they love me. But you don't know this person. You don't know this person personally. Like she didn't know, she knew nothing about this person. She just worked at the restaurant. And in reality, it didn't have to be this waitress. It could have been any waitress. It could have been anybody. And she would have just been like, well, but she's fat though, but she's this though, but she's that though. So no, you're not the asshole for saying that your girlfriend is overweight. Why? Because, I mean, number one, if it's true, it's true. Let's just start there. I have no problem people saying that I am overweight because I am overweight. What I have a problem with is people insinuating that my weight makes me unattractive. That's my issue. So for her to be like, oh, she's ugly because she's fat, but you can't look in the mirror and identify that fat is not ugly, then clearly you meant it as an insult and not as a joke. So, moving on. Okay. Next we have, am I the a-hole for refusing to share my son's gift for my family with his stepbrother? I read this one prior as well. And the gist of it is that he has a son with a chronic ear condition, and basically he gets very sick, and it's, unfortunate. And he is married to a woman who had a son from a prior marriage. Now, he was not able to get his son a whole lot this past Christmas, and his family decided that they were going to gift his son a college fund or something along those lines, a college savings plan. And clearly it's for his son. His son is 11. They're like, it's more important for him to have an education than it is for him to have toys and things. And his son is very excited about this. Now he has a stepson from his wife, and his wife is like, and please note, this stepson, he's completely healthy. There's nothing wrong with him. He also is in school, and he's 14. He seems to be doing well in school. There's nothing wrong. He's living his life. He's 14. Now, in this situation, his wife is mostly upset that she feels as though the family is she feels as though the family is playing favoritism. They're showing favoritism towards their son and not the older one. And from her perspective, she's saying, if they're going to give him something, they should give my son something as well, and you shouldn't accept it. What he's saying is, it's not my choice what they do with their money. It's a gift to my son. There's nothing I can do about it. It's not my position to be like, no, he can't have it, right? Now he's asking, am I the a-hole for not sharing? My honest opinion is no. But hear me out. I grew up in a house, or I'm still living in a home, where my mom makes sure she buys gifts for every single grandchild that she has, right? And let's say, somebody brings a cousin, or like one of my nephew, he has a lot of cousins on the other side of the family. If they bring cousins in XYZ, or anything like that, it's not my mom's responsibility to get those children more gifts, to get them gifts if she bought one gift for my nephew. But I know my mom as a person. I know if she could do that, she would. Now, in this situation, this isn't, to me, this isn't showing favorites. It's just reality is your son is the 11-year-old. He has a condition. You don't have any money. We're going to help him. We don't know I don't even know what the condition is. But whatever the situation may be, we're going to help him. We're going to provide him with, some of the money to get an education. The older one is not in any way, shape, or form related to us, nor is he showing any issues. It doesn't look like they're having any problems anywhere. So I don't understand why he wouldn't also be able to just go to college, not maybe on financial aid or, on his own dime. And from where the wife stands, she's like, that's not fair. Why does your son get something that my son doesn't? And she's claiming that the older son, he's jealous and he's resentful. And I highly doubt it. For some reason, that doesn't sound true. Even in the thing, he's like, he hasn't brought that up to me, so I don't believe that. Part of me is like, I don't think that's actually true. I think she's putting words in his mouth, or she's just assuming. She's just jealous because it's in her perspective, from her perspective, it's unfair. But to me, I'm just kind of like, I really don't think that's true. Because when you're 14, you're thinking about being 14. That's just it. Like, you're
teen music.
Right. You're not even worried about things like that. So I can't imagine he's like, oh, why does he get XYZ and I don't? It's not like it's some, shiny toy or, a phone or something that like a 14-year-old would be like, oh shit, I want that.
PS5.
This is a PS5. It's not something that a 14-year-old's like, oh yeah, I need that in my life. A 14-year-old's not really worried about that. This doesn't really seem to make much sense to me from what he's saying. But I don't think he's the a-hole for being like, no, this is for this child. This is why. Why is because I have siblings and we are all biologically related from the same mom and dad, and there's 8 of us. So, and I didn't get everything that my brothers got. My brothers didn't get everything that I got. My sisters didn't get everything that we got. My first car was given to me. I had a nice car. My first car was given to me. My other sisters, they worked for their cars. They got money for their cars. My first car was given to me. There's never any jealousy. There was never any animosity, because what's for you is for you. If it was given to me, it was a gift to me. If you worked for yours, you worked for yours. I don't understand why. I don't understand this, but no, I don't think he's the asshole for saying like it's for him. And no, he does not have to share. He doesn't have to split it. If it's for him, if it was given to him, then it was given to him. That's just how it is. Now, this is not an r/am I the a-hole, but I thought this was very funny, and I saw it on Facebook the other day, and it's a comment under a picture, and I can't see what the actual picture was, but this is just the comment under it, and it says, any man that requests a DNA test is a bastard, period. Any man who does DNA tests on my child without my consent is also a bastard. Anything can happen that can make a woman pregnant for another man. Any child I give you is your child. Fuck what DNA said. Now, Trinity, who is my official cameraman, we had this conversation yesterday, and I talked about it with my friends, right? And here's my thing. I actually had to think about this. I had to think about it overnight, because At first, I was kind of like, bitch, what? And I'm still like, bitch, what? Because the way she said it is almost like, and the thing that stuck with me was, any child I give you is your child. No, that's not completely true. Yes, there's issues that come up in the middle of it. Like she said, anything could happen that could produce a child that could biologically not be yours. You know, the R word is out there, sexual assault, that's out there. So I'm like, yeah, that's true. But at the same time, for you to be like, you don't need to know whether or not it's your child. Ooh, yeah, he kind of does need to know whether or not it's
especially
his child.
if you've been acting kind of sus about it.
Now that's a different situation. Trinity's saying if you're giving him a reason to be like, I think I needed to have a DNA test done on my kid, that's different, right? Something about you he's like, that might not be my child. Or he just looks at the child and he's like, that might not be my child. But for whatever reason, he's like, this might not be mine. Why? I would be like, yeah, let's get a DNA test done. Because if it's to the point where if it's a matter of you trusting me enough for me to be like, if I'm not like, yeah, let's go get a DNA test done. If I'm not immediately like, or if you are immediately like, I don't think this is my child for whatever reason, and I'm not immediately like, yeah, let's go to get it done, then that would raise red flags from my perspective, just to be like, why do you want it done? What did I do? What is happening between me and you that you're thinking that this isn't your kid? I would want a DNA test at that point, but for her to be like, whatever kid I give you is yours, that's not fair. Because if it's like, it's tricky. I feel like it's tricky because it's like she said, anything could happen but XYZ. At the same time, what do you mean anything could happen? Like, the only thing that I can think of as of right now is sexual assault. That is the only.
Other than the R word, that's the only, like, or in the biological phenomenon you talked about where, like, the woman.
There was when I was in middle school, I did read in a textbook that there was a woman that gave birth to twins or something like that. And somehow neither of the twins were biologically related to her. But in that situation, there was no need to have a DNA test.
Yeah.
Because she knew who the dad was. She didn't, but for some reason, it wasn't reading that she had given birth to these children. Right? And they were biologically her children. It was her eggs, it was her everything. But they were not reading as that. In that situation, you still wouldn't need a DNA test because they knew who the father was. But in that situation, that's very specific. That's very like, really once in a lifetime phenomenon. And I read it in a science book when I was like 12, 13. So that's really specific. But on the other side of that, I can't think of another reason for you to be like, oh, you don't need a DNA test. That's sus. That's suspicious. That's weird. But
like, maybe she thinks it's like an invasion of privacy.
Now, in the situation of where you're like, oh, you got this done without my consent, that's different because that means you did not want to speak to me. But at the same time, I'm also kind of like, you didn't want to speak to me because you suspected that this was not your child, which that would upset me in a different way. That's a matter of
trust me.
Yeah, that wasn't a matter of XYZ. That was a matter of our trust as in a relationship.
But the thing is that it potentially isn't that case because she says, regardless of what baby I give you, that's your kid. No matter what the DNA test says.
What Trinity was saying is basically that the trust factor here is, at least from the way it looks in the text and stuff, it's really not there because she's like, regardless of whether or not it's your kid, it's your kid. Now you have to me, there's part of me that's like, if you raise a child its whole life, this person's whole life, and they look at you as dad regardless, that's your dad. For some reason, whether it's a stepchild, an adoptive child, if it's mine, regardless how it was given to me, nigga, you kicked my thing. Regardless, to me, if it's my child, I don't care whether I gave birth to him, I found him, whatever it is, that's my child. I'm gonna love that child as it is my child because I love my child. But not everybody feels that way, and he has the right to know whether or not biologically that is his child. At least the way that's how I feel. But that was a little fun thing. I thought it was fun. This has been another episode of whatever the fuck this is. This is the first episode, actually. Come back next week for another one, and then come back the week after that for something else. Thank you, Bernice. Subscribe to my channel. Bye.
Yes.
Okay, cool. I have to back up a little bit.
It's on, by the way.
That's okay.
All right.
Editing out me isn't hard. It's just editing out the voices and the shits. Damn, why is the refrigerator making noise?
Because it's hungry.
Oh, jeez. All right, so